Good morning, everyone, and welcome to 5 a Day, 5 minutes to build, develop your spiritual health. Coming from the office this morning. It's not often I've been in here in recent times, but here this morning. I'm sorry if there's some extraneous noise that you're going to hear during these 5 minutes, but there's a lot going on here and outside around the areas. Everybody seems to be doing building projects, etc. Today is a day when many countries in Europe have a holiday. Why? Because it's Ascension Day. We've not done that in this country. Certainly for many, many years. We've had a holiday always at the end of May. It used to be called Whitsun. Now we just call it kind of May Bank Holiday. And what's Ascension Day? Well, let me read you the very last couple of verses in Luke's Gospel. And when he led them out of the vicinity of Bethany, he lifted up his hands and blessed them. And while he was blessing them, he left them and was taken up into heaven. And then they worshipped him and returned to Jerusalem with great joy. And they stayed there continually at the temple, praising God. Luke adds to that, and he adds to that in the second volume of his writings about Jesus and the early church, and that's Acts. Perhaps you didn't know. So very much Acts is a follow-on from Luke's Gospel, and he begins Acts with the ascension of Jesus, and he adds this and says that there were two men dressed in white standing next to them and looking up and saying, well, why are you guys from Galilee looking up into the sky? Said the same Jesus who you see ascending is one day going to descend in just the same way. Ascension Day. Jesus had overcome death, sin and death. He'd overcome that by rising from the dead, and he brought hope into the life of the disciples. They were just a rabble after he died. They disappeared already, moved away. They then began to reconnect and decide, well, what are we going to do? We've given our whole lives to this. Where do we go from here? What can we say? We can't really turn back from the experiences we've had, but we don't know the way forward. And the resurrected Christ met with them. And the resurrected Christ gave them not just hope, but gave them a future, gave them plan, gave them purpose. And although he ascends and that moment taken from him, they have some understanding of who he is, and they meet together. They don't go back to their jobs, but they stay together for a while to pray and to see what will happen, because Jesus tells them, and again Luke calls this in Acts 1, tells them to stay in Jerusalem. Before he ascended, he said, stay in Jerusalem until what's promised comes upon you. And we might look at that in 10 days' time to see what happened then. But Jesus not only rose from the dead, but he ascended to the Father. And we can look at that and we can realise, and they would realise, that if they had any doubt who Jesus was, if they had any doubt that Jesus was not just a teacher, not just a guru, had any doubt over him at all, that now they understood that he was indeed the Son of God and that he was unique. And what they were following, the person they were following, wasn't just another in a long line of teachers or religions, but they were following the true God. We spoke the other day about the true vine. It's part of his final teaching to them, helping to them understand that they must stay connected with him. They must be with him. And that moment of ascension, they got Jesus back for a while, and then he ascends to heaven, would also be mixed still with that doubt as to, oh dear, what's going to happen now? And yet there was hope, and hope can seem incredibly elusive. No matter what great and positive things happen in our life, if we're honest, there are times when we, even in the midst of faith and belief, we kind of lose hope, and we lack hope. But they came together, we know, and they prayed together, and they encouraged one another. And that's a great thing that we can do as Christians. We might not be able to meet physically together, but we can encourage one another with messages, by being online like this, in whatever way. So this is a time to encourage each other, because even with the strongest in their faith, even with the greatest of people, hope at times can seem to be elusive to us. And so let's stoke that hope. Let's encourage one another. Let's pray for one another, and let's build up the hope that each one of us has. The two men standing by him, probably angels, well, I'm pretty sure they were angels, gave them hope. Said, hey, what are you looking for? Jesus is not here. Kind of saying two things. One, you need to get on with your life. But two, Jesus hasn't abandoned you, because he's coming back. So don't worry, he is coming back, and you'll see him again in the same way. So let's be people of hope. Let's continue to be at hope, but let's fuel one another. Let's stand by one another. Let's help each other, so that through these times we can build each other's hope and not lose hope. Have a great day. God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.